China is the best country in the entire world. I love China so much. First off, Mandarin is amazing. Second off, the Chinese Communist Party. Yes, communist is the best government in the entire world. Most transparent government in the entire world. The cuisine is amazing. The Great Wall of China is the best tourist destination in the entire world. So much history in China. China, I love China so much.
皆さんこんにちは。中国実情のチャンネルへようこそ。いつもご視聴いただき、本当にありがとうございます。今日も興味深い話題をお届けしますので、ぜひ最後までお楽しみいただき、チャンネル登録と高評価をお願いしますね。本当に中国を深く愛している外国人たちのようですね。こういった動画がネットに投稿されると、再生回数が爆発的に伸びるのは当然のことで、数百や数千ものコメントがあっという間に寄せられます。そこで今回は、ある中国人の YouTuber が、大国としての威厳をアピールしようと、イギリスの街角で非常にシンプルなインタビューを行いました。
If you guys plan to visit any Asian country, which one would it be?
I would probably say Japan, because it's got a very vibrant nightlife. But you?
Probably say the same.
Definitely on my to-do list is Japan and Thailand.
Be Japan. Japan's very high on our list. We heard streets are awesome to walk, very beautiful, great food, awesome culture.
I want to visit Philippines.
If you guys could plan to visit any Asian country, which one would it be?
Personally, I'd love to visit Japan, specifically Osaka. I'm just completely drawn to it. It's just lovely in my opinion.
Mine would be Japan. My grandparents have gone there. Grandparents' favorite country other than the US. It's pretty and a bunch of areas, great food.
I'd say Japan, definitely.
What attracts you here?
I really like Japanese food for a start. I'm a big fan of sushi. Secondly, it's a really technologically advanced country. It looks really cool, like the trains and stuff. So I definitely want to check out Japan.
その質問の内容はアジアの国々の中で一番旅行してみたい国はどこですかというものでした。しかし、返ってきた回答は、おそらく彼が心待ちにしていたようなものではなかったはずです。動画の再生数もかなり残念な結果に終わってしまいました。彼としては、きっと中国に行きたい。日本には行きたくないといった答えを期待していたのでしょう。でも、今の時代、世界中の人々はどこへ行けば素晴らしい旅行ができるのかをしっかりと理解しているんですよね。思い通りにいかなかったこの YouTuber は、少し質問の方向性を変えることにしました。すでに中国を訪れている外国人観光客になら、もっと嬉しい答えを聞けるのではないか、と考えたわけです。そして、中国国内にいる外国人たちに向かって中国に来てよかったと思うところはどこですかと尋ねて回りました。ところが、これもまた彼が望んでいたような結果にはならなかったようです。
What was your biggest culture shock when you first got here?
The spitting in the ground. I was on the train and all guys spitting next to my food. I smoke. I saw it on the wall. I did not smoke, but then I saw people smoking everywhere.
Louder. I think maybe the fact that not many people speak English.
People doing like the and then spitting. No one does that in the Netherlands. It's not very nice. It's pretty laughable. Although you get used to it. The first time we heard that it was like, huh? Why?
When we're crossing the road, the motorbikes cross by you, and we're not used to that. The smell of some things is like really hard for us because we're used to like no condiments at all.
People take pictures of me without asking, and that really pissed me off because I'm not an animal. It's not a problem. I just asked to me
to have your passport for everything. Really check your ID a lot.
Also that I cannot communicate with my family, the applications that we use.
それでも、この YouTuber が少し良心的だったのは、都合の悪い事実も包み隠さず、ありのままの映像をアップロードした点です。不自然なほど台本通りに答える他のやらせインタビュー動画とは少し違いますよね。
How do you feel about China?
China is now number one in the world. We don't like United States. We don't like Europe. I like China, like new leader, economic, technology in the world. It's not aggressive. It's respectful with all the people. It's solidarity.
そんな中、中国で7年間もの間、英語教師として働いていたというある外国人が中国での生活について率直な感想を語る場面がありました。
If you ever plan on visiting China, or if you ever live here, you're gonna have to get used to people staring at you and people looking at you differently, especially when you're walking around the park with a camera. But I remember when I first came and I was on the metro and I would just see people staring at me. You know, in Western countries, it's very rude to stare, right? But what I'd see is just the Chinese people staring at me on the metro. You know, I had been told by people that had already lived here that they're more curious at you than anything. So you'll have to get used to the stares if you ever visit China, especially if you're a foreigner. If you're black or dark-skinned, then you're probably going to notice this a lot more because Chinese people are even more curious about dark-skinned and black people as opposed to white people. When COVID happened, this is when it really started to annoy me because what they will do is they will single out foreigners because they think that we all have the virus. Now, of course, when the virus started, when the pandemic started, in their news, it would always say that all of the cases from China after the initial outbreak were from foreigners coming in. When in reality, it was actually from a lot of overseas Chinese people coming back into the country. So what this means is anytime you're at a checkpoint or you're going into a mall, less so nowadays, but the Baoans or the security people would always look at you and be like, we need to see your health code. Where did you come from? What country did you come from? The second thing that annoys me most about China is there's a lack of a queuing culture. So when I first came and I would go to a restaurant or maybe a fast food place, I would stand there and I would be waiting for my turn, you know? But little did I know that you have to basically get right up to the counter and you have to push past people. This even happens in train stations. People will just push past you trying to get to the front. It's something as a British person that really annoys me. Maybe other people don't get annoyed so much by it, but as a British person, we love queuing. It's not even that we love queuing, but we understand when there's a queue, you abide by those queue's rules. If you come to China, you have to get used to there being a very relaxed queuing system. And if you've ever come here or if you've ever lived here, you'll know this part extensively because it doesn't take long until you realize people love to just spit here. Now, as a generalization, and from what I've seen, it's normally the older generation, but when I say spit, they really hack up. In fact, you're just missing it here, but that guy literally just spat on the ground. And what they'll do is they go like, and then they will spit. They will like try and get a demon from inside of their chest. And, you know, in broad public, and there actually has to be signs on public transport that is like, please don't spit in public. And especially after this pandemic, you will have to get used to, and I'm sure you will definitely see someone hocking up a lung, like proper spitting onto the floor. And like, oh, it's just disgusting. It's so gross. When it comes to any public spaces, especially like the metro, normally at the metro, you'll wait for the cars to stop and the doors to open, and then you let the people off, and then the people that want to go on, go on. In China, that's different. Basically, as soon as the doors open, people are going to be, not everyone, but there's going to be some people that just jump in. As the wave of people are coming out, they're going through the center. Like they just have no consideration for other people. So the final thing that annoys me about China is that they can be very direct about certain things, but very indirect about others. For example, if you're overweight, or if you are different in any way, they're going to say, oh, you're fat. They're very good at pointing out physical issues with you.
Now, there are a couple reasons why Chinese people travel in groups like this. The first one is that it's much cheaper. So it's cheaper for them to join one of these tour groups and travel to other countries. Not only do they get a tour guide that shows them around, it also means that they won't have to rely on speaking English in these foreign countries. Most countries where you go traveling, they use English as like a second language for tourists. Most of these people now that are traveling outside of China, they've never had this experience before in their life. There is a large middle class now here in China, which means that traveling has become an option for a lot of these Chinese people where they wouldn't have had this option before. So they go in groups together and they stay together, which I think is one of the problems. In groups of Chinese people, when they go traveling, they rarely break away from their circle. So they lack the learning experience of being immersed in a new culture, speaking to the locals, eating local cuisine, traveling with the locals. Basically, they never branch away from this Chinese circle. So the way that they act in China, they take that to other countries. So for us, we can label their actions as rude, but they themselves may not consider these actions rude. And I think it's important to consider the history of this group of people in China. The people that are 50 plus years old, they come from a very different China than the one we see today. They come from a time where it was very difficult to live. There was famine. The country was much, much poorer than it is now. They wouldn't have had this opportunity to travel. Growing up with their local ways, perhaps defecating on the street was not considered rude as most people did it. Or spitting on the ground was not considered rude as most people did it. Or pushing in line was not considered rude as that was the way that it happened in the places that they came from. Now, there's an old saying, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. I think this sticks for these older generation of Chinese travelers. So for others, when they look at them, they would consider them rude as they don't wait in line, they're loud, they do what they want. But back in China, they actually are the same. Although in China, it's not considered rude as much as we would consider it.
中国现在真的是世界上生活最舒适的国家，没有之一。大家真的是身在福中不知福哈。像我现在在美国读书，刚才去超市买东西花了2000块左右，真的就是每周去一次超市，花1-2000块是非常非常正常的，而且都没买多少东西。然后出去吃个饭叫外卖，花1000块钱也都是很正常，而且都不是说吃的多好那种，就是普通的家常饭。然后打车5分钟的路程至少是100块起步，你要是打车去个机场，就经常花1000块钱左右了。买一瓶矿泉水30块，所以像很多中产在国内把房子卖了，移民跑到美国、欧洲，就发现根本钱不够花。哇，你们想想中国那种生活啊，你看直播10几块钱买一个很好吃的小零食，这在美国根本就是不可能的事情啊！出去吃顿饭几十块钱那种小馆子已经吃得很好了，更不要说现在电商呀、快递呀、外卖这些东西有多方便。这种东西我在国外根本就不祈求的。你们知道美国最方便的购物网站亚马逊，它竟然退货都不给你上门取货的，你得开车拿着你的所有的东西到固定的站点去退货。你想，那对于没有车的人，或者说你买的很大件的，那退货真的是很不方便的。然后美国的很多农村还没有网，因为人口分散太大了，基建不太好做。就是我跟大家说，美国除了纽约，没有任何地方的生活可以跟国内媲美的。而且纽约还贵啊，纽约也不是说完全达到了国内那种便利程度，它很多店也没有。然后交通最方便的就是坐地铁，你开车也不方便。我觉得世界上真的是没有任何一个国家生活程度达到了国内那种便利程度，然后物价这么低的。像我前段时间去古巴嘛，那边其实是非常非常落后的，停留在50-60年代的一个经济水平，人均月工资啊30美金，然后它的物价竟然我发现跟国内是差不多，然后生活也不好，就是自己的国家它再有问题它也是自己的国家，国家强大了我们出去也硬不起。所以说啊，像我的很多朋友问我说，毕业为什么不留在美国？还有像国内的有些人看留学生回国就说啊，你肯定是在国外留不下去才回国的。我觉得啊，真的就是不了解，总觉得国外的月亮圆，像我们这种在国外待了很多年的，可能反而对国外这个世界祛魅。所以啊，我是一毕业就坚定的，我一定马上回国的，我现在就想回。这地儿啊，谁爱待谁待，反正我是绝对不待。
なんとフードデリバリーの料金が非常に安いことがニューヨークよりも中国の方が住みやすいと主張する最大の理由だというのです。たかが出前が安いからという理由だけでわざわざ海外に移住する人がいるなんて、正直なところただただ呆れてしまいます。ある国の実際の生活水準を正しく測るためには、物価の安さだけでなく、得られる所得のバランスも同時に考えなければならないはずです。デリバリーの料金が安いということは、つまり配達員の給料もそれだけ安い水準にあるという事実に、どうして気づかないのでしょうか。まあ、それはさておき、彼にはしっかりと学業を終えた後、ぜひともそのデリバリーが安い中国へと戻って、安くて美味しい料理を思う存分堪能してほしいものですね。本日も最後までご視聴いただき、本当にありがとうございました。